Hey everybody, how's it? I am so stoked to bring you another Patreon-a-thon. Enjoy a little bit this little background that I have here for a second. I was trying to figure out a better way to do this while I'm getting a little better at OBS and stuff. I realized, well, I need a little hold page before I get started with our music. I want to thank all of you so much for your support on Patreon. There's a lot of you that's been here for a while, and I can't tell you how much that means to me, as well as the ones who are new and showing up as well. I just think any kind of support is absolutely amazeballs, and so I am just always so grateful for that. So I got a lot more suggestions that I thought I would on that last call to action. I think it was September for October, and now I'm a little late in October. But so that just means I'll do two, maybe even three in the next 4 to 6 weeks of these long Patreon-a-thons featuring music that you guys are sending me. I also want to thank those who are coming over here to Patreon from my gaming site. I don't know how many of you know about that, but you know, I have another channel that's Reaction, obviously, of gaming, and I'm learning to play video games and stuff. So a lot of folks are starting to drift over here for support as well. As a matter of fact, one of the tracks I have here comes from a game called Final Fantasy. Anyhow, so we're going to get this thing going. Let's go ahead and start with a track. Well, all these tracks I've never heard of whatsoever. So that's always what this is all about, right? I'm rambling. It's because I have my first cup of coffee this morning, and this is the day that I set aside for us to do this. So let's get on this. Don't forget to check out the chapters down below if you want to get right to the track that you want to listen to. All right, guys. So the first track that we're doing is called Zeal and Ardor. Oh, no, I'm sorry. Zeal and Ardor, Death to the Holy. So I take it the band's name is Zeal and Ardor. So let's do this. All right.
For your information, video signal is live. Please continue. Over.
We'll continue. Ready to get some Mars rocks.
Roger that. Please proceed with caution. Over.
Love that piano.
Zillion spoils of the weakest gather out the wolves of the north, the flies of the east, the birds of the south, the snakes of the west. Death to the holy. Death to the holy.
Super haunting.
Zillion spoils of the weakest, the wolves of the north, the flies of the east, the birds of the south, the snakes of the west. Death to the holy. Death to the holy.
Man, this is insanely eclectic production. Obviously, I know nothing about the band, so I don't know if this is the fabric in which they come from creating, having these kind of, I don't want to say different genre runs, but let's just face it, the very beginning of it, with the piano and stuff, I didn't know what to expect. I'm thinking, okay, we're going to be pushing some abstract work here, you know, with the piano and stuff. And then as the verse comes in, it's got slam poetry elements, right? Because he's more speaking than he is within a tone, though he is. But it's got, like, you know, the clap, you know, the trap clap that we're hearing and stuff like that. But before we get into the ballsiness of the Death to the Holy hook, which is all, you know, full chug with the full kit and everything, there's that, like, I think it's a 2-bar turnaround, something like that, where the chug comes in, but they still kind of keep you drawn in and pulled into that, you know, kind of trap sound with the claps and stuff. And I think that's very creative. And then they hit you in the balls now with, you know, with the people's elbow, with everything all in. The kit comes in 100% and stuff. but kind of dark and macabre and gnarly. I really, really am digging how they're using the piano through this track and stuff. This is badass. It's great.
First side of a business, we send a pray for forgiveness, and I come again, and you be the witness of the brilliant spoils of the weekend. First side of a business, we given a pray for forgiveness, and now come again, and you be the witness of the brilliant spoils of the weekend. Spoils of the weekend. Brilliant spoils of the weekend. Death through the holy.
Man, this was, well, obviously the nature of the video, you guys know, for me, I'm not much of the, listening to the lyrics, especially in a lot of the tracks, I can't understand it, because of the virtue of the performance and stuff. Super, super abstract and eclectic composition. Now that I know what the video, at least watching the video and what this is about, it's a heavy hitter. It yearns for that kind of weirdness and tug of war. That's what this track was, a lot of tug of war in choices of how they were choosing to perform the track. So you have pseudo EDM, you have electronic digital arrangements in there. Even that like bing, ding, the little arrangement they have when they were kind of doing a little bit of this, unique time as they were playing with their chugs and stuff. But they had that one weird synth that was pinging and stuff. And that was a tug of war. And then the scene where they're going in and they're getting the guy and taking him out of the room and stuff, that was really jaw-jerking rhythmically and stuff. What a great track, though. What a great way to start off the Patreon-a-thon. Kind of, it's a herky-jerky kind of vibe. Very powerful. Obviously, the subject matter is really super intense. And also, I think that's where that dichotomy of, the beginning with just the piano and all that sort of, like you knew it was macabre and dark and going somewhere, but by the time they shut this thing down, it's all in. So that was super sick. All right, the next one is from a band I've never heard of. It's called The Novelist. These video sizes are a lot kind of weird and stuff, so not only these look fantastic, but this track is called The Novelist. Turn it up. So let's do this. All right.
Wasting my breath all along the day, riding away, 'cause it's all I can say. I needed something to sound my brain, and then everything out of my brain, so I'm just getting on the way.
Choppy stuff happening in the background.
So turn it up now, 'cause I never wanna be alone. Turn it up more till it drives me insane. Turn it up now, can you see that I'm melting, fading, worthless, I'm just a waste of space.
The production of this track is next level, and what I mean by that is like we just went from a track that was probably as raw and organic as could be, even though there was the trap claps and stuff like that. But recording wise, there wasn't a lot of post trickery going on. This track is just saturated with it, and it's so well done. You know, it suits my creative tastes as an engineer. So first, those guitar sounds are insane. I love that genty kind of darkness. I try to do it on my 7-string. I can't. I can look up a bunch of videos. One day I may get it, but I just love that bouncy, gnarly sound that they can, you know, that they use the way they do in open tuning type stuff to write the riffs that they do. The track in of itself, I don't know if you've heard me say something about how it was choppy, but there's a lot of stuff going on in the background when they start to layer her background vocals in with her in the verse. You know, there's richness and thickness and movement. You know, there's flange or choruses in it, but there's also something in the background, way in the background that's kind of chop edit to add a little bit to the rhythmical arrangement of it, kind of sequency. As far as the track's concerned, they've already hit us like almost 3 times now with the hook. I guess it's called Turn It Up. I'm looking at this though too, and I'm going, since I know nothing of the band or the history of the band or the discography, I don't know if this is a new trajectory or if they're, you know, as albums release, they move forward, artists and bands move forward and stuff like this. But it looks like it's a really, it's an intense infusion on taking the authenticity of the darkness and the heaviness of the performance and making it, I hate to use this word, but poppy. Like is this the next? When was this released? 3 weeks ago. Okay, so this was released 3 weeks ago. So are we hearing more of an embracing, let's say, of these darker, heavier, gnarlier compositions that require musicians and not so much synthesizers? Let's say into a, you know, more of a pop drive, you know, in changing the sounds of what pop music could be. I don't know. It's just a weird thing. And plus watching the video with this kind of choreography, it's like, it's not a clash of genres. It's a unique meld of it, melting of it, meld, M-E-L-D? I don't know. Let's go. Great phrasing. Here we go with the engineer trickery. Ooh, I love that. Oops. That was probably some of the most darkest, gnarliest, that last, I'd say, minute with her performance too, with the insane fried vocals and stuff like that. That is just as gnarly as every other authentic, let's say, metalcore. I don't know. There's so many freaking genres. I don't know. For some reason, I have the term metalcore stuck in my head. First of all, let's talk about that guitar player. The guitar player that's doing that lead work and stuff like that. There's incredible phrasing in that. Just great phrasing and nice intervallic work without getting too herky-jerky. You know, a lot of the tapping stuff that actually happens in there actually is attainable. When you're that high up on the neck, is attainable by, you know, if you have that kind of dexterity in the hands and you have that kind of detailed thousands of hours of wood shedding. But that tapping that he did towards the end was so crisp and so clean, and it was the intervals of that were just really super cool. That solo was just sick. A couple of little, like I said, that really pushing the future of engineering in this. There was some very unique thing that he did when the guitar had a little squashed AM canned sound, you know. He did a and it panned and stuff like that, and he went into the solo, had a little bit of a Phrygian fry. But the melding, I guess, the melting of these the sounds here, looking futuristically into it, I thought this track was just freaking off the hook. And I have a very open mind. You guys know that. I think that's why you guys hang out with me. I listen to all kinds of music. I have a very open mind, and since I don't have a set way of this is the music I like and this is all I want to listen to, or if it gets out of this, then it's not that. The genre wars that goes on. I don't know what the future of this band is. Looks like it's done pretty good. In 3 weeks, over 100,000 views and stuff like that. But once again, this was absolutely insane in the what's ahead in the future kind of vibe. All right, here's something else coming up. Another one from our Patreon members. Of course, it's a Patreon-a-thon. All of these are from you guys. This one is called Kim Dracula, 70 Thorns, featuring Jonathan Davis of Korn. And I did not know this before I get rolling on this, that he does a lot of stuff on the side. Okay, let's do this so you don't have to see black screen. I love that. All right. Jeez. Some of that Korn production there.
I'll take it personally.
Oh shit.
You were versed in virtually no finger hurt. Believe heard at least 20 people take turns to speak. I'm sick of feeling like I'm a villain in the first degree. People make no fingers out of the God. I don't know anybody that gotta kick up me a job. That's the one that I just put him in, then they take him away. I wanna see about the pockets and venom inside of us a different way. I wanna feel something. I wanna feel something. I wanna feel something. I wanna feel something. I want to be the one who hurts you. I want to be the one that cares. Feelings intense, they're hard to swallow. It feeds the fear. Oh!
Oh man, there's so much to freaking unpack here. I don't even know where to start, so I'll try not to make this really long-winded. That opening was great. I love that clubby, jazz kind of vibe to open up. I mean, I kind of knew we were in for something. I just didn't know when it was going to hit. Especially when he starts to scat, the scooby and then of course the makeup and the whole thing starts, gives it away that's going to blow up into something. But that creative production composition mind that must be going on, and whoever are the people or the person that wrote this must be just so insanely abstract, whack, colorful, imaginative, because everything about this, notwithstanding the video, is so freaking creative. When we get into the balls of it, though, and we come in with the Jackson, V guitar and everything. Very unique guitar sound going there, almost like there's like an odd harmonization going on. Not harmony like it's in harmony, but like a doubling or something chuggier and deeper and gnarlier. And then right about there, you can hear a little bit of the Korn style production. So Jonathan Davis, I've listened to a ton of Korn. I was a big fan of Korn way at the beginning. But you never know which one of the members are the one that might be a little more into the production, who are the ones that call the arrangement shots. So there's some pulling from Korn without a doubt in this. And of course, it's because Jonathan Davis is in it. But it doesn't mean that everything he does or touch will have that. That banging section of more of the trap hip hop style vibe was just insane. And what a great switch up in its production. I don't want to go overly goober with it. Then of course there's two more composition change-ups within it. Still keeps the integrity through and through. But then, of course, when Jonathan comes in and he sings, then you can hear right then and there's also a little bit more of a Korn influence. But anyhow, I'm still just kind of marinating in it and just kind of, so we'll just keep going. I like that fusion. Oh my God.
I wanna take you outside and see what your face like. Like perfect gasoline hanging from a children's gate.
Oh, what a great engineering. Oh, shit. Man, that was just, everything about that was just such a freaking joyride. There was yet two other switch ups in production through that caught me off guard. I think first of all, the singer, some of the voices that the pitch that he's hitting is absolutely just squelchy nightmare perfection, if there's such a thing. It's such a macabre video, you know what I'm saying? But I think the video explains a lot of the switch up and the change up. That cut to dry cut drum kit, it's those kind of things that, in production where I sit there, I go, oh my God, these guys worked frickin' hours on this stuff. And I wouldn't be surprised if sonically there was a storyboard, if it was all written out. Okay, in this verse we got to do this, and in the verse and then we're going to take all of that and we're going to bake a nice little crust around it. What I mean by that is that now we're going to encapsulate all of that insanity and that composition in a listenable, discernible way, where it's not way out there where you get kind of Mr. Bungled, or Les Claypool or Primus, that kind of herky-jerky stuff. They kept an incredible consistency in this in the production that was. I'm gonna have to watch this again probably a couple times, because I have to really give it like the listen. So anyhow, yeah, that was freaking insane, and thank you so much for that suggestion. Okay, next up here we have something called Humanity's Breath, or Humanity's Last Breath, Void, and this was asked for me to play this guitar playthrough by Buster Odom. Forgive me, you guys know me. I'm not really good at that stuff. Let's do this. All right. Upside down. All right. Ah, that tone. First of all, you saw me kind of going like this with the guitar. I was going, oh, dude, he's playing left-handed with the guitar upside down. And oops, had to whack there on a picture there. You know, one of the unique things that I've experienced through my life is the musicians that, by virtue of just how they learned how to play the instrument because of what was available, or maybe there wasn't a guitar store for miles and hundreds of miles around them, so they picked up the guitars or the basses the way they were, but they were left-handed, and they just learned how to play that way. Many musicians are like that. This is one of them. Apparently, looks like it. Okay, I could see by at least this video here that they're using a neural DSP, I think, running through it. I didn't look at the LEDs to see if it wasn't just up there as background. One of the things that tone is murderous. Is that a good way to put it? It is so fried, but it's audible, but it's so fried and just searing and sizzling. And one of the techniques that I enjoy watching him do, and a lot of musicians of his caliber, is string skipping. You know, the string skipping, and especially when it's this dirty, every ounce of noise is picked up by the pickup and processed through whatever is being processed. And this is a playthrough, okay? So that means legitimately we're hearing what he's playing. It's not like pretending to play through a track and saying it's playthrough. There's at least anything extremely minimal noise that I can't even really pick up. To me, I'm in awe of that stuff because I get intimidated by power like that. So when I play and I hear it, I get intimidated. And then once I hear noise, I get like, I can't do this. And the ability to do that with string skipping and the pick, he's not using alternative and he's not using his other fingers. I mean, he's not using hybrid picking. So to jump strings like he's doing, watch what he's doing with his left hand. And so, well, both hands have to jump strings, but that to me is just mastery. That to me is somebody that has worked and worked and worked on it, and this kind of musicianship is the result. And also, giant bass behind all that, too. That was just everything I said in the middle. There was nothing more to add to it, except for the fact that one of the important parts of the sound that I'm listening to, I because of the fact that I'm still theoretically a noob at these sounds, but as an engineer, an old Obi-Wan Kajibski engineer, I always listen for what's holding a tonal zone and what's keeping me interested in it, and to me, bass, right? So the one thing is regardless of how intensely a lot of these or some of the bands that try, like Animals as Leaders and stuff, that don't have bass players, and they have the guitars and they'll do what they can to get those toned down. Nothing substitutes, except for a great bass arrangement and bass tone and everything like that. And it just has to do with the tone zone from like 500 to like 1500 in the EQ spectrum. So behind this, though, is a really super sick bass tone. So all working together, obviously, drums, everybody was in there happening. But, a good part of what I was listening to, I was really kind of, the second listen to, I was going, okay, I'm going to focus on the bass. And that was great. This guy's, like I said, the upside down, left-handed string skipping technique, freaking sick, man. And thank you so much for having me listen to it. So I'm pumped on that. Okay, this next one here is, what am I doing here? Oh, hey, Final Fantasy. This is going to be a switch. Now, the person who suggested this to me had said, could you please listen to the first one and then listen to this? He actually wasn't even asked as a reaction. It was just asked, of me and stuff. And I decided, so I listened to the first one. I said, well, let me listen to the second one. Of course, you're going to know when I have certain things to say about it. But for all of us here enjoying this journey, this is Final Fantasy. Of course, if you don't know it, it's a very famous video game. Crystal Chronicles Remastered, and an intro cutscene. So this is also a song. So let's do this. All right.
Dreaming of the stars on high that speak to me in secret sighs, drifting on a breeze. Only I can feel and hear.
Okay, so obviously a massive change up to the first four songs that we listened to here, but you guys know me and I love music of all kinds, and especially I've really gotten involved in the music from gaming because it's extremely broad. So from the very first track, obviously this is like a remaster. The vocal performance in this is absolutely stunning. What is great about this melody is the intervals between the notes. What's really unique about that, now for any of you metalheads that are still, you haven't jumped to the next track or gotten on to the next one, if you're here for the journey, this is a little bit like what I was talking about in the second song. I think it was the intervals in the musicianship and the guitar playing. Of course, that's heavy metal, but yet it's the intervals that I really enjoy. And it's not like, for instance, if you do a lot of stuff in a cluster in a small area, it still works, still sounds great and stuff. For me, I'm just that guy with intervals. And the vocal here is absolutely beautifully, stunningly performed, but the intervals of the melody is fantastic. Now, compared to the first version, which is really not fair to say here because I haven't played that for you guys, obviously the production of this is a lot more lifted, it's polished, they say it's a remaster, but I think it's the video is remastered. I don't know, it sounds like it's a completely different recording of the track. I love the Middle Eastern style or the Indian style of percussion that we're listening to, and you know, with the finger bells and all that sort of stuff. Another thing is that the instruments, I don't know exactly what they are. Remember, I'm not an ethnomusicologist. I don't know everything, without a doubt. I'm lucky if I scratch 15% of knowledge. But the guitars that they're using there, what's really wonderful about it, multiple strings, sounds like it could be you know, a mandolin or anything that has multiple strings, like a 12th string where you're doubling the tuning. There is a pedaled note through that, and to me that's really one. Even though this is beautifully arranged and stuff, there's a note that kind of glides us through it, which is really super nice.
Deep inside, so silently, my heart will speak. Deep inside of me, memories flickering and
Love the bass on this. Alright, just bringing a little bit of that Celtic vibe. You hear the drone in the background?
Keeping close to the path, morning sky watching over all. Moving over endless mountains, oh so high. Walking to the light, your heart will see the path, and you will find the way. Just wait and see. Over endless sky, oh so high. Tomorrow will follow, and it holds your promises today. Just wait and see.
What a great track. Another thing that really speaks so loudly of this just fantastic melody is the fact that though the arrangements in the background are very nice and stuff, especially when there's obviously no singing, so there's moments to actually kind of glow a little bit in the arrangements. I love that little switch up into the Celtic with that bagpipe vibe. I don't know what it is. There's a few instruments in the world that have a drone and a melodic part of the instrument that plays somewhat monophonically. But the melody in this was so beautifully written and everything like that. It didn't need, like any composer and arranger knows, you can fatten this up 7 ways to Sunday, but it didn't need it. There was really fun, nice arrangements that answered back from the melody. So at the end of the phrases, the melody is like da 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 da, da da da, you know, those little answer backs and stuff like that. Very playful. The whole track and the whole production of it, that very Journey-ish, not Journey the video game or Journey the band, but like you're on a journey, kind of like what the video seems to be saying here. But what this was, I have to say, and also this is like out of the tracks, all the tracks I have here, this is right in the middle of it. So this was a nice little change up for me, you know, a little bit of you know, rinse the palate, you know, that was great. I love that, and that's what I love about our community here on Patreon, expanding as well. So okay, so the next one coming, I don't know, this is called Savatage and Hounds. So let's do this. All right. I love the tone of that clean guitar. Very light, short reverb too on it. That gives it just a little ambience. Little Zeppelin machine.
They roam the countryside till morning's Do you hear the hounds echo? Scan the dark, eyes aglow. Through the midnight town, they hunt you down. They run wild and free across the fields and valleys of their native lands. Nature's beasts deranged beyond belief. No one understands. Do you hear the hounds they call? Scan the dark, eyes aglow. Through the midnight town, they hunt you down.
Nothing like the most raw and organic, ballsy punch sound of rock like this this metal vibe. How different is this sound compared to like the intensity of the production and the rich sonic imaging of engineering today? So I yearn and I bring in with all the joy the opportunity to listen to a ballsy metal track that's just rooted in raw. You know what I mean? You know, with the engineering and everything. Now let's talk about the engineering really quick. At the very beginning, when I said I love that guitar tone at the beginning, that clean sound. It was small in the mix. You know, obviously it was going to build into something. And if you listen to it, it sounds like it's mono, slightly off to the left side. But the engineer has a little bit of a stereo image or a reverb on it that images out stereo very lightly. So it gives you the sense that you're still encapsulated in a defined dynamic of stereo. Then as we get punched into it and stuff like that, I'm listening to the guitar tones, and it's just, like I said, it's just as raw and organic, and it's such a joy to hear it right at this moment. The performance, the whole thing, obviously it has, I would say maybe a little bit more of an organic, I don't know if I could say it has essence of black metal in it. It has more of the rawness of the I forgot what you call that, you know, if it's pop, it's pop, but if it's not, it's I forget the term that you use. It's you know, cool. It's in the back. I forget it because I'm getting older. I can forget. But it just reminds me of that raw time, and I think maybe that could be nostalgic because of my age, right? Something else I want to bring up before we continue on is I love the delayed slap back on the overheads, I guess. I don't know what the engineer did, but if you listen to the toms and stuff like that, especially the toms, you hear a little bit of a slap delay in there in the ambience, and I love that. That to me is what gives me that era of the pureness of and the raw sound of this kind of metal of times gone by. And also that organ that goes through it too is pretty badass. There's haunting organ in the background as well. You hear it? Kind of goes. Eddie dropped in for a minute there. That was great, that fade out. This section. That was badass. Didn't you hear the organ back there? Can I also tell you how insanely dark and gnarly that bass performance was through this whole track? Fucking huge. I love this ending. This was a great listen to me, and it really threw me back. I swear to God, after a while, I'm like, I'm not doing a reaction. I'm in my head, and I'm going. It's pulling me into a time of my life in the 80s, long hair. I had a Jeep, going surfing, getting baked every day and stuff like that. And this was the kind of music that I listened to because it was abstract. It wasn't sewn up together like a song that was what I would consider the pop rock era of the 80s. There are some huge callbacks to the 70s in this production stuff. Something else that I was listening to that I want to share with you guys briefly. So I'm listening to the soloist, the lead musician on this. He's freaking killing it. But what's unique about this is that, when Eddie kind of came out with that style of tapping and stuff like that, as guitar players moved to learn that and bring it forward into their own tastes and stuff like that, you can kind of tell by phrasing also where the musician, when this possibly was recorded, compared to, let's say, some of the tapping and phrasing of today that's more intervallic and there's sweeps involved and big, wide, there are patterns that repeat and stuff like that. Maybe be it for, 2 beats in a measure or something. It's kind of indicative of an era of guitar playing as lead musicians were taking, metal rock lead musicians were taking these new leaps moving forward. And, what was deemed as, this is cool, this kills and rocks, but if I go too far outside of the pocket musically, then it starts to sound a little meh, fusion-y or something like that, or progressive. So to keep it more into the raw, you might stay more into the pentatonic vibe and the darkness of that pentatonic minor kind of a thing and stuff. So this was a great listen, man. I loved every bit of this. Thank you. Next one is, okay, now I know for sure that we're going to go into a completely different vibe of production and everything. So we just came out of this callback to heaviness and darkness and reliance on performance and power. Not saying that this doesn't, just hang on for a second, don't come for me yet. Now we're going to probably hear a completely different style of production and stuff, and I think it'll be a great A-B for us to listen through. If you're still here, would you type in "I'm still here"? All right, let's do this. This is Archspire. I don't know if it's Archspire or Archspire. A dark horizontal. Here we go. What a great guitar tone, Jesus. Nice little hybrid blend of synth arpeggiation for ambience. I like that. Fucking days. How's he doing that? Got to take a break in that madness there. Oh my God, what a difference from the other track. I'm actually sweating a little bit just listening to it because it's just my brain's frying, not only by the performance, but I'm just going, how in the frick is the drummer doing that with the double kicks and these, at this speed at the 32nd, 64th, it seems sometimes, that opening sound too of the snare of that blast beat that he's doing. This is the thing about where music has gone to in performance abilities. It's gotten so precise and so powerful and so fast and stuff. So it's obviously does a gigantic service to this genre of music and this style of music. The bass on this is absolutely mental. A matter of fact, there's a part of me goes, oh, can you just nudge it up in the mix just a little more? Just give me a little bit more of that. What I've learned in the last few years of me doing this on the channel, the Decomposer Lounging, and really beginning to all right, I'm going to listen and I'm going to understand all about the growling, the fried vocals, and have so come to appreciate that. There's no two ways about it. What I find is unique is that each one of these performers that do this style of performance, that technique, it's like, I'm not going to go long in this because I'm not a vocal coach, but the size of your mouth, the type of mouth that you have really dictates tone and how we speak. It doesn't even have to be a singer. How we speak and how we listen to each other. A lot of what we hear from other individuals has a lot to do with the size of the mouth, the nasal area, and all this sort of stuff. And certain things, obviously the voice, right? The voice box. But you could feel that this performer's got a ginormous, powerful section right through here, especially through his throat. That's why this performance sounds so throaty. Even though the frying actually, from what I've watched in vocal videos, a vocal coach is talking about, it does come from a manipulation that happens in here and breathing and stuff. You can really feel this performer coming from here viscerally just hauling ass. Wow, I wasn't expecting this. I'm like getting nervous. I don't know what to expect. A little Pink Floyd-ish. Oh my god! Oh my god, just how I mean, that infusion of neoclassical composition, chord change wise, the notes that they're playing inside those phrases are freaking mind-numbing. But it's like, once again, just briefly, we hear this music and people at large I know who are going to be turned off by it, vocals, it's just not their style, whatever. Me as just a composer and a musician and stuff, and I listen to the musicianship on this on all levels, it's just absolutely mind-numbing of most likely the kind of education these musicians have, and then they infuse it in this genre. It almost feels like at any given time these guys can pull their hairs back and sit down and do a classical recital. Even the drummer, even though in essence there weren't drums back in, let's say, Renaissance, classical, neoclassical period. There were percussion, but still, yet the bass player. Do you hear everything that's going on? The bass player is in unison with all that stuff. No, I don't know. Jocko is probably going. Even Jocko's probably going. Yeah, we go. I have nothing more to say other than everything that I already said. It was just freaking intense piece of music. And, you know, for the folks that support a band like Archspire, I can only imagine the emotional release this music has, you know, because this is so freaking intense, you know. And even if in the abstract, if you're listening to this in the background, let's say, and you're not a musician and you don't know anything about music and you're the pure fan, it is just so freaking intense. It's unmatched. This is absolutely unmatched. I'm not saying better than or anything. This style of music, the performance, the musicianship, and this, you know, when you're going to glow on technique and power, it's unmatched. It's absolutely just what people like to say, next level or God tier or whatever. It's unmatched. It's its own galaxy and universe of just nuclear power. Is that the best way for me to say it? Ah, geez. What am I up for now? It looks like I'm in for a run of more metal. All right, this next one is called Tear Down This Holy Mountain. And the name of the band, I'm looking at the channel, but I don't know if it's the same as the band. Well, I can't tell. Is the name of the band? No, it's not. This has got to be Whoa! Is it Whoa? I'm looking at the very bottom here. I think it is. If it's not, I'm sorry. You sent me a link and I clicked on it and I put it in my list. So, you know, I don't do homework before I do my stuff. I can't help it. Let's do this. Tear Down This Holy Mountain. All right. Okay, this must have been a continuation of another track. What the hell's happening with my system? Sorry, guys. I don't know what that's about. Let's do this again. What the hell? Sounds like a bass clarinet. No, that's not. I love the heaviness of the ambiance and the ethereal aspect of this.
deep analog.
the dawn of all that was. Behold the grace of God as he drinks us out.
Okay, first of all, dark, heavy, gnarly, like a metal purgatory, you know. So obviously the way the track opened up, I mean, it was like there was, maybe this is the second half, obviously, because it just kind of jumped right in. Excuse me. So a lot of that heaviness and darker ambience, and then that, I don't know what that reed instrument was. I thought, man, it sounded like a bass clarinet, but it was really low, but then it went really high. So I'm far from knowing everything in instrument, all the instruments in the world. You can help me out with that. And then, of course, the storyline, just the vocal, just the spoken word coming in. I mean, I knew by the length this is like almost 12 minutes long, which is usually I won't do that, but I decided I wanted to jump on this one. Excuse me. But when we broke into the power of it, when the drums came in, God, it is so hard that as it seems it's just to keep that in tempo. Plus he's doing quarter notes on the hi-hat in the background, and because of the way my ears are trained and stuff, I can feel him, I can see him performing this, because not every hit on that hi-hat is at a set velocity like they do in the MIDI and stuff. And then he really kicks ass and breaks free, and then you can hear the drummer really tearing it apart. I love also how that reed instrument is still meandering in the background, you know, while this heaviness is going on here. So there's a lot for me to hear. I just wanted to hurry up and make sure I said that, you know, that I wanted to, because this is a long track. I might forget things. Oh, listen to the bass on this. Come on. That was nice. I love, you hear this ambience? I love how they keep the ambience going, even through that heavier part earlier. There was that sense of ambience. These guys are doing a great job at that. I think it's such an important part of the track. Beautiful chord changes back there. That electric piano. Great. Beautiful voices. Love that hi-hat pattern. And you get that Pink Floyd kind of vibe through this too. The chord changes by the piano. That was it? Why did it end like that? What the hell? Oh, shit. Jeez. It's like I've been impaled and they removed it before I got to the hospital. I'm about to bleed out. What an incredible piece of work. And did you see me freaking out with those EP chord changes that were going on back in there? All the way from when the solo came in and they used the trap. Here's another great project or song. Maybe this whole thing was a concept album or something. Through and through. I don't know why it just stopped. But the insanity of it all is even in the vocals. Okay, so there was the spoken word, there was the darker voice, and then there was these tiny little maybe 2 bars, maybe beautiful voices, and I was like, oh, listen to this is great. Oh, nope, they gave you just, here's a little bit, here's a spoonful, you know, here's just a taste, you know, here's a freeze of this like beautiful little vocal passages that would show up and stuff. That section where it goes off into the lead and into the traps and stuff like that was just absolutely mind-numbing. I'm just going to play this while I'm still speaking because I don't like that other stuff. Absolutely stunning and mind-numbing. It was just wonderful, an incredibly eclectic composition, but master of ambiance. Even through a lot of the chunkiness and riffiness that was happening, there was a lot of ambiance that was going on there. And, you know, for me, that is such an important part of my listening. When I enjoy things, there's just something about giving it the due respect, ambience, and ethereal work without it getting an overload and stuff. This was another like, you know what? There was a couple tracks here that were the kind of tracks where it's like going to a museum and seeing a piece of artwork that you might say, hey, this is a picture and it's beautiful. But you have the benches or the couches there so you could sit there for like 25, 30 minutes and just seemingly just look at a picture but absorb all the unique brush strokes and the colors and stuff. This is another one of those tracks that you just sit there and you're like, how in the, you know, and it has that, you know. But the other thing too, before I dig out on this track and just say aloha to everybody, the other thing is that where I heard the electric piano come back in under, well, actually above all the heaviness of the drums and the guitars, but the electric piano is a soft kind of a melody bell kind of vibe. One of the things I want to just share with you guys is that obviously the engineer takes that in faders. Look at that, I'm old school, it's probably computer. I'm gonna do it old school, and pushes it hot up in the mix. But the reason why the engineer doesn't have to floor it is because the tone of the EP owns its own space. So while the drums and the percussion and the heaviness of the guitars and stuff are consuming other areas of the tonal spectral environment, which is 0 to 16K, and above is, you know, dog whistle. The electric piano is able to live in an area where it doesn't have to compete tonally with the other instruments. So that engineer did an incredible job of getting it just perfect in that pocket to make it discernible and still make it like, oh, you guys like me listening to that going, oh, sheesh, did you hear that? Anyhow, listen, this was a great session. Once again, I can't thank all of you enough who have sat through this. All of you who are continually supporting me, be it on Patreon or Twitch. You know, the financial help that I get, you know, with you guys is so wonderful, and so I'm so grateful for that. And once again, I've got a bunch of these, so I'll probably do another one of these in about 10 days from others that have showed up. Once again, I kind of pulled from the, you know, early onset of when I made the request. People have been coming in and parachuting in with more. I'm going to put that in my list, and I think probably every 2 weeks I'll do a bang out like this, you know, just to stay on top of it. You know, I don't get to every single one of them, and so eventually at one point or another, you know, I always poke into my Patreon list before anything else when it's time to do something for either channel. So I want to thank you guys for your support. If you're still here, you're still here. Thank you so much for everything, and you know, ahui ho until we meet again. Thanks for hanging out. All right.